Being docile to the Holy Spirit is the only way we can accomplish the works of God and the mission of Jesus. You and I, we are to use his grace and do his works for his glory, no matter what the world may think or say about us. This is the work of a true disciple of Jesus. Greetings and blessings on this 5th weekend of Lent. I hope that your Lenten season has been full of grace so far. But thanks for joining me on this journey through our mission values. You know, it's my hope and prayer that these reflections have been helpful and that the Lord is stirring up something in your heart and my heart so that he can lead us to conversion and to a deeper life in him. Last week, we reflected upon what it means to be authentically human and living this vulnerability of Jesus. So this week, we want to take a look at our 5th mission value, be docile to the Holy Spirit. You know, as I've said before, the importance of mission values is to help to bring clarity to, to how we are to behave as individuals, as disciples, as a church, so that we can more effectively mobilize to achieve the church's mission. So docility to the Spirit is one of those important values. You know, the word docile comes from a Latin word, docere, means to teach. So if we're docile, it means that we are teachable. Perhaps you recall when you were in high school or college and you took notes in your class as a way of helping you to learn and to comprehend the material presented by the teacher. You were receptive, right, to what the teacher has to offer. And in doing so, this implies a realization that the teacher offers something which I don't have and it is good for me. Well, in John's Gospel, on more than one occasion, Jesus promised the disciples the gift of the Holy Spirit. He said in chapter 14, he says, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate," right? "To be with you always, the Spirit of truth, which the world cannot accept because it neither sees nor knows it. But you know it," Jesus said, "because it remains with you and will be with you." So the advocate, the Holy Spirit that the Father will send in my name, he will teach you everything and remind you all that I told you. So the Spirit was given to you in baptism and deepened in you through the sacrament of confirmation. So docility to the Holy Spirit is an act of surrender, right? It's a hard word, surrender, an act of surrender, whereby we desire to learn from the Lord and to be formed in his truth. It involves being open to the workings of God in our actively choosing to cooperate with his grace in all things. Because in doing so, we are flexible and willing to put aside our own will, our own plans, our own desires, and then to accept and do whatever is God's will. And it's the Holy Spirit who reveals the Lord's will to us. The Holy Spirit, Jesus said, will teach you everything. So think about all the choices we make on a daily basis. How often do we seek the input of the Holy Spirit in making those choices? In the face of all the possible choices we have at any given time, if we are attuned, docile in seeking the Holy Spirit's input, then the Spirit constantly moves us to pursue what is most pleasing to God. When we're not docile to the Spirit, we seek only what is pleasing to us and according to our own personal wants and desires. And we end up doing things out of routine or complacency without the conscious intention of doing them to please the Lord. And so we settle for mediocrity or even run away when our faith is challenged. Friends, docility to the Holy Spirit takes practice. It takes a continual effort to seek the Spirit's input in whatever is at hand in any given moment, right? And so we should pray, "Come, Holy Spirit. Come, Holy Spirit. Teach me what you want me to know and do, Holy Spirit. Come, Holy Spirit." One will never come to know the plan the Lord has for their life unless they become docile to the Holy Spirit. The apostles of the early church had no preconceived plan for taking the gospel into the world. The Spirit given to them at Pentecost became their helper and guide. Again, in the words of Jesus, the Holy Spirit will teach you everything. The spirit of this world keeps us focused on pleasing the self, seeking our own glory, our own self-exaltation. This is dramatically opposed to the movement of the Spirit of Jesus. Our mission is to bear the fruit of personal holiness and faithful witness to Jesus before others and the world for the greater glory of God. This, I believe, is our greatest challenge today. Being docile to the Holy Spirit is the only way we can accomplish the works of God and the mission of Jesus. You and I, we are to use His grace and do His works for His glory, no matter what the world may think or say about us. This is the work of a true disciple of Jesus. So friends, during this next week of Lent, to help us determine the level of our docility to the Holy Spirit, I suggest reflecting upon these three questions. The first one, does our love for God move us to seek what is most pleasing to God at each moment of our lives? Secondly, how deep is our desire to know the truth, to live according to that truth, and to go out and proclaim that truth in the world, in word and action? And lastly, how readily are we willing to surrender, there's that word again, surrender ourselves for the greater glory of God? What might be holding you back? Ask the Holy Spirit to help you reflect upon these questions. This will be a first step in being docile to the Holy Spirit. Again, pray for the grace of surrender. And thanks for listening. And I'll see you next week. God bless you all.